Good evening, Sauce fans, ladies and gentlemen. I bring to you a tier list of weapons that would be pretty decent or absolutely terrible in a zombie apocalypse or any kind of apocalyptic event. So, starting off with Fist, our bare hands. I'm gonna put that at B. You kind of, for them to work, you kind of have to be strong for that, and some people aren't. So that's situational, right? That's all right. Um, it definitely you definitely shouldn't just be using your God-given hands to punch zombies into the ground. But if you do, then you're doing it. Um, Next up is the crowbar. I'm gonna put this at S tier because it's light enough that you can carry it on you, but it's heavy enough that it works really well as a blunt object. Right? And also, Gordon Freeman uses it. And that's cool as shit. That's awesome. I love Half-Life. Um, Looking at this with the crowbar, it's also extremely versatile, right? You carry it on you. You can get into doors, get into windows. You don't have to use it to harm. It could get you. Oh my god. I really hope you guys can't hear my dogs, but if you can, I'm so sorry. They're trying to harmonize. Anyways, it's like the master key without, being a key or. Yeah. It's really good. I like it. Bat. Now, I'm going to incorporate both wood and metal bats because they're essentially the same, just one out of a different material. I'm going to put this up in S rank as well because it's so iconic. There's various ways that you could run a bat and it still be super useful, right? Just an ordinary wooden bat, you can crack some skulls with it. It's really good at doing that. Metal bat, even better. It's going to last you longer, and overall, it wouldn't snap if you hit it too hard. But wooden bats, you can put some duct tape on there and make it look cooler. But both of them, you can put barbed wire, right? Make a Lucille. And we all know how effective that is.
Back to it.
All right. Next up, lead pipe. I'm putting this in A tier. It's better than fists, absolutely. But it's an A tier because it's like the crowbar, but a little less easy to hold. But it's also very inconspicuous, right? If you have a lead pipe on you, you're less likely to be seen as a threat than like a crowbar, but it's still you can still dish out some pretty decent hits because of it being hollow inside, right? It allows you to really get some whacking motion going on, and also it's got that point right there. It's kind of like the crowbar. It's just really it would be pretty decent, which is why it's at A. Yeah. Then we have a small wrench. This goes in B because of well, actually, hang on. Let's move fist down to C. It's a lot more situational, but we got small wrench at B because you could use it for maintenance. It's not good per se. I would definitely say there's plenty of other options that you have to your disposal that allow you to properly dispatch of some not alive people, some zombies, you know. But there are better options out there, but it can still get the job done. Big pipe wrench. This goes in A next to lead pipe. It's its main bar is heavy enough that it allows the user to swing pretty hard down. And also because Adrian Shepard uses one. And as we've established, I like Half-Life. Alright, so it goes to A. Branch. Better than nothing, I guess. This is going into literal garbage. Actually, no. It goes into D. Because there's some potential there. Right? Of course, it's not perfect. But with some touching up, you could definitely make something... You can make something happen out of it. It's definitely... It's not good, but it is so... It's better. It's better than nothing. I guess. Copper pipe. I'm putting this in a literal garbage. Why not with the branch, but in literal garbage? Because copper pipes are kind of weak. You know, they're not really the sturdiest thing. And they bend really easily. They fall apart. Honestly, you could be using that copper for something so much better. But in a pinch, I guess it could help. But it's definitely... I wouldn't use a copper pipe. Large staff. Unless if you're a wizard, S tier. But normally, I'd say it's about B. It's kind of long. Think of it like a 4-foot long staff. Right? Long, unwieldy. It's just kind of... It's alright, you know? With enough training, it could definitely be good. And if you want to, you could sharpen the end of it, make it into a spear. Boom. Really good range. It's still got really good range, but a staff kind of needs to be held at the middle for movement on both sides if you want to like properly use it. Next, sledgehammer. You can break out your inner Tagila. I'm putting this in A because it is a menace. Right? It's big, heavy, just like flattening. Absolutely just flatten out any zombie with the sledgehammer. Right? They're pretty heavy. It's not S tier because it's a little harder to move and to maneuver. But using it, if you can, it's a really good choice. You can, let out your inner tequila, go crazy. Table leg. This goes into literal garbage. Just like a copper pipe, it's kind of weak, right? It's meant for tables, not for hitting. And that's kind of where it falls short, you know. It's just not. It's not necessarily good. I wouldn't trust a table leg with my life. 2x4. This goes in D. Actually, no. This goes in C. Because, unlike a branch, it probably won't break after you hit someone. And also, you could use it to reinforce your little hideout if you have a lot of them. Oh, gosh. But also, like the branch, you could carve it up, make it something better. If it's an oak, if it derives from like oak, mahogany, any tree that isn't like pine, it's pretty good. I would say it's on par with Fist because there's potential, but definitely better than a branch. Long iron rod. Um, I'll put this in C as well, right? Why it belongs in C, not B? It's because it's a big iron rod. If you hit something with it, there's a pretty. It's gonna vibrate in your hand. It's not gonna feel good. But also, you can kind of modify it, right? It's on par, with the plank and branch. You can modify it, definitely make it a lot better. If you sharpen the edge of that, boom, significantly better spear than just like a pole. But that also requires you to have some heavier duty equipment to properly sharpen the end of this iron bar. And also they could rust, and that's not good. I don't want my tool rusting. Extra poison damage to people, zombies won't really care. C tier. Hammer, small hammer. This goes in B category. Do you like hurting other people? Right. This is the pinnacle. Carpenter's dream. Right. It's light, maneuverable, and depending on which one you get, it could last you a while. A pretty good while. They can hit hard. They could be used. They're just a smaller crowbar, but one-handed, but not as good as it's not A tier worthy. All right, it definitely deserves to be in B tier because it gives you a limited amount of range. Bronze statue, D tier. D tier, definitely. Bronze statue. The only thing it's got going for it is weight, because it's a bronze statue. It's got weight. It could be used to clobber pretty decently, I would say. That's its only thing it's got going for that, or it could be melted down. But I wouldn't necessarily trust my life with a bronze statue. A boot. C tier. Right? Kicking, stomping, breaching. A good boot, definitely on par with, a plank, iron bar, and fist. It also kind of requires the person to be able to know how to do those things with the boot. But, it's also a pretty decent melee ranged weapon. You could throw it. It'd be pretty good. I probably should have added a sandal on here. But for what it's worth, a boot, C tier. Pretty alright. Gold bar. D tier. Soft, malleable. The only thing it's got going for it is that it most likely would become a better source of currency. But it's heavy. So you could also use that as a ranged thing, like just Ninja Star a zombie with a gold bar. That'd be pretty cool. Big Rock. Big Rock, C tier. It's humanity's pinnacle. Right? We peaked at Big Rock. They're very versatile. You could essentially make you can make a few of these things with the Big Rock. Yeah, amazing. Throw it, smash with it, break it into smaller pieces and make them into whatever. Pretty versatile. But also kind of heavy. Sock. Specifically, sock filled with hard objects. Depending on the object, it's either C or a D tier. But, I'll put it in D tier. It's kind of makeshifty, right? After a while, you should probably ditch it because depending on the material of the sock, it'll rip quicker. And you don't want, your object full of like metal bearings or something ripping and all of your metal bearings going everywhere but what you're trying to hit. And yeah, definitely should ditch that after the first day or two. If like first few hours. Small knife, pocket knife. C tier. Fits in your pocket. You could use it to sharpen a plank, branch. Pretty good. Concealable. Does about what you need it to do. Right. It's definitely not the best thing, but in a pinch, save your life. Way better than these four. It's just a must-have. You gotta always be able to have a small knife on you. Medium knife, like a butcher's knife, B. Absolute B tier. You could dish out some pretty deep cuts with this. Really good at doing what you need it to do. At least offensively. It's very hard to use defensive measures with the butcher knife or like a big old cutting knife. Outside of having to kill things, it's also really good. Obviously it's meant for the kitchen. It's good at cooking, cutting, making food. You should probably wash it if you've cut some things with it. But yeah, B tier, all the way. Machete, S tier, right? We haven't had one of those in a bit, but the machete goes to S tier. One, because it's badass, and two, because it's just, you could really get some work done with a machete. It's good for clearing out shrubs, cutting heads, limbs. Other than that, it's got some pretty decent reach to it as well, which allows you to, kind of distance yourself from what you're hitting so that you don't get hit. That's kind of the big step with that. It's really good. I would definitely, that's like a must take all the way. Here's another machete. I can't delete these photos. There probably is a way, but I can't figure it out. So it's staying there. Sword. Just a standard sword. Unwieldy. Hey, it's not necessary, but it's A tier. Right. You could be some badass knight, but its effectiveness kind of relies on the user themselves, properly maintaining the blade, cleaning it, sharpening it, knowing how to use it. That's also a big thing. A really big dull sword is just kind of a big hitting stick. I wouldn't want that, but it's definitely got a big place in end of the world kind of badassery. Next is the katana, S tier. right? One, S for samurai. Two, because it's cool as hell. Slicing through hordes of zombies with a katana? Oh my god. Man's best dream. Right? It's just amazing. You know, zombies are kind of just like really big. Uh, what are those mats are called? Yeah, just slice right through them. Just sick as hell. Great sword. Uh, I'll put this in S tier as well. Why it's not A tier? Why it's in S tier is because larger range of motion, right? If you're surrounded by zombies, you could just do a big old circle with it and just like clear them up, slice them in half. Um, I would say it's relatively maneuverable. I mean, you could hold it above the crossguard and definitely dish out some quicker hits with it. It's more defensive and offensive than just a traditional sword. Uh, but it's a lot heavier than a katana. It's a sledgehammer of swords, I would say. It's really good at, being heavy and just carrying a lot of momentum behind that blade, which is exactly what you want. Just anything to remove a zombie from existence, right? Small hatchet, B tier. Concealable, quick, but it's not that good in terms of being an axe. Due to its kind of smaller profile, it's just like the hammer. It's really just the hammer, but with a bigger blade. Hit it with like a big blade. It's overall, just okay. B tier. Fire axe, A tier. No, S tier. Fire axe goes to S tier. One, it's cool. Like really cool. Two, it's light enough. It's kind of like the crowbar, right? It's light enough that you could carry it on you. Yeah. It's got a heavier head, so more momentum. Good at cutting, chopping. Amazing, right? Splitting axe, A tier. Sledgehammer of axes. A lot of momentum, but also kind of unwieldy. You can't really no, holding that in your bag or holding that on you for a long time, that would be kind of annoying. But it's got its purpose. It's got its ways. Spear. S tier. Spear's S tier. One, because spear. Also, you could grab it from anywhere on the pole, and it goes from being super long to being being pretty short. It's easily maneuverable. You can throw it. You can poke with it. You can kind of slice with it. Like a high grade spear, not something that was made out of big rock or pokey. But yeah, amazing. I give the spear the S rank. Pickaxe. Kind of I don't know. It's really good for what it's worth. I'll just put it in A tier, right? We got a lot of stuff in A tier, but it kind of makes sense that the pickaxe is up here, right? It's got that one really long, pokey part of it goes right through zombies' heads, right? You don't even have to try. It's like a hot knife through butter. Right through them. The only downside of it is they tend to be pretty big, pretty heavy. They're meant for like downward swinging than combat. But say you were going up against something with some armor on it. I don't know why you'd be going up against some like armored zombie, but for whatever reason, a pickaxe would be pretty good at punching through that armor. Or if you gotta punch right through a lock, boom, got that. It's good for digging. It's good for... It's all around really good, but it's not S tier worthy because of kind of how unwieldy it is. It's the same thing with the sledgehammer, right? It's effective, but not effective enough that you could just carry it, you know? Anyways, that's the tier list. Look at that. Amazing. Beautiful. Perfect. I missed a few things, but that's okay. Next tier list, it'll be about shooty bang bangs. And how well and which ones are good for zombie apocalypse. Anyways, catch you guys in the next one.